This session we're going to work on another uke movement. Okay, so the uke we're going to work on is outer to inner. Now you've got the wedge, which is the idea of being able to wedge straight through the movement. But if you're not going to wedge, you've got to move on to the next level. So the next part, we start to turn that wedge into the ball. This time we're going to work on turning the ball from the outside of his arm to the inside. Now often in karate this will be called either uchi uke or soto uke. Why the confusion? Well, because if Adam puts out both arms, everything inside his arms is uchi. Everything outside his arms, soto. So that means that if I go and do a movement inside his arm, whichever movement, it would be uchi. On the outside of his arm, whichever movement, soto. And because it was relating to the opponent, that's how the confusion arose. My old karate instructor, Toru Kamizawa, changed it to Gai Wonto and Nai Wonto. Gai Wonto being the thumb side of the arm, Nai Wonto being the little finger side of the arm. So here, this way. If you did Tai Chi, you might take this as Loi, to drawing. Very interesting movement. It's good to drill this in this way. From here, turn. Come back, as he pushes in, turn. This is the point that people tend to not train. So they'll start from here, and as the arm comes in, they bash the arm. And yet the most important point is actually the point that you touch, because at the point that you touch, you want to roll. Then it doesn't matter how, if you punch hard, see, still he goes by. So if you can develop the sensitivity that as his punch comes in, you can just roll with it. That's the thing that makes it work. It can also be used this way. So we could be striking this way. So as he pushes in, here. Now if I push his arm back, and pushes in again, we've got a basic pushing hands flow drill going. If I then change to this arm and push back, he can now use this arm and do the uke here. Then he pushes back, I use this arm here. Now we've got a basic changing pushing hand drill going on. We'll do this really slowly. If you look, I absorb it, take it, this comes through to the wedge point, and if you notice when the fingertips get to the elbow, roll it. Now as I go into the centre to strike, you can see Adam's got his hands on either side of my arm. So this one, if he wanted to break my arm, he could now do it. If he wanted to lock my arm, he could now do it. But he chooses to just roll it away. Then he goes to trap my arm against the body. So I yield with this arm, and as I yield with this arm, I roll away with this one. Now we have a good drill going. One with both arms on the inside, the other one hand on the outside and one on the inside. If I want to change that, I just don't pass it, I just send it straight back again. Now Adam is working one way, now I've got my arms, one on the outside, one on the inside. And Adam is working with both hands on the inside. So you can change sides without even having to stop. How good's that? Okay, now this movement done with fists means that this one, when his attack comes in, I can strike the points on the arm here. So it might be, even if it went from the corner of his eye, across his nose, down, striking onto the large intestine points on the top of the arm. Or I can hit the hip point, mid-tricep muscle here, to bring this joint out. Now we also use this rub point here, but the hip point is just here. So I can pull his arm as I lock it straight, I can strike it and cause quite a bit of damage there. Also, as this arm comes out, it can be from here. This, as I said earlier, can be striking with open hand. Can also be striking with a hammer fist. Can also be striking with these finger joints, again from here, and brought across here. So again, this is a very versatile movement. So if you look at that upward movement, and now look at the outward to inner movement, we've started to get a good pushing hand drill go. If we then added inner to outer and lower, and then we can play through those 4 movements, this now becomes a good pushing hands drill that any karateka can use, well, any martial artist. We use this in our Tai Chi classes as well as our karate classes. Okay? Outer to inner. Notice, still it comes to this wedge point. This is where it works best. And absorbing his energy, so the harder he pushes in, the more effectively it works. Okay? Thank you.